Welcome to Camp Knightmare. I'm the camp director, Danny Knightmare. Please bring me all of your parents' permissions, for we are not liable for personal belongings such as blood, limbs, and your measly souls. Then check in with bunk assignment with chief director, horror guru, for your bunking needs. They are color-coded. There's black, darkest black, raven black, and blood red.
I will show you how to bunk, my friends.
For your final, once you have your final resting place, check in with activities director Lee from Drumdums. We have archery, swimming, shallow grave digging, and body bagging.
Oh god, I knew this was going to be a great stream.
Gotta get those badges.
Yep, gotta get them badges. Guru, why don't
I got my camp counselor badge.
Guru, tell them all about yourself, where they can find you. In case
Hey, I'm the Horror Guru. You can find me on YouTube under the Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema. I do reviews of horror movies. Sometimes they're very long form, funny, jokey reviews, and other times they're just simple vlogs. Just depends upon which ones I happen to get done that day. So you can check me out there. You can also find me on Twitter at the Horror Guru. And so, yeah. What about you, Lee?
I don't like my lighting right now. You can find me at Drumdums. If you type Drumdums in the search engine, I'll be there. And I talk a lot of horror, like old, deep cuts type stuff. That's what I've been venturing into lately. As a matter of fact, I checked out Josh's review of Grizzly today, and I was thoroughly, I loved it. It was really good. So yeah, that's me.
All right. Well, there you go. For those that don't know, we got a good amount in gory hole right now. The bunks, the bathrooms, the showers, they do have gory holes in them. You will get bloody.
Did you cut Gory in half? Because it appears like she's just legs now.
Oh, you guys see Gory that way. The chat does not see Gory at all.
Oh,
Gory
okay.
is off to the side, yes. The counselor's views.
Boo.
They get a sneak peek at the behind the scenes. Nurse Gory, for anybody who is wounded or maimed, she will probably just put you out of your misery. So, and all letters home, especially ones coming from home containing cookies, go to the three of us first. We will have to taste test those. So, you guys didn't go to summer camp, did you? Like as kids?
I did not know.
No.
I didn't technically either. I don't know anybody who did. I've been asking around. I don't know anybody who went to a summer camp, like a real summer camp, like in the movies.
I did. Let me rephrase that. I did, but it was when my kids were of age, so I was an adult. So I was just kind of. I was a camp counselor, I guess.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I guess that's what.
There you go.
That's how you got the job.
Yeah, I volunteered, and I learned blackjack tips. So yeah.
I went to.
What are they teaching those kids?
I went
know,
to pretty much a summer camp, but it was in the spring. It was like in late May, I think, and it was 2 years, 5th grade and 6th grade. If you were eligible, you'd miss like a whole week of school, and you would go to this camp. And it was like technically spring camp, but it was pretty much a summer camp. We had cabins and counselors and all that stuff that like in the movies. And I think in 6th grade, Resident Evil just came out, so I was like really obsessed with that game for PlayStation and Sega Saturn. And anytime there was steps or a door, I'd just take a long pause to load myself and then walk them up in a creepy way or whatever. I don't know. I was a kid. So, but yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, there was a little bit of archery and stuff. I've taken lols up to Boy Scout camping, and they have archery and stuff. So
Nice.
So I mean,
nice.
I've had similar experiences, but I don't know anybody who's actually been to like that full-length summer camp that you always saw in movies that were either horror or wacky kids movies.
I think we're all like a couple generations removed from the camp generation.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I
I
think
think
so, too.
because I grew up like I was really young in the '80s, and so I think that's why maybe the '80s was the last real era for it. Maybe like the '70s is really when it was probably a thing. So, I don't know, but
I've wore the short shorts before, but I never got to use them at the camp.
well, that's why we hired you, man, for those short shorts.
There you go.
You got the legs, Lee. You got the legs.
Yeah.
Gotta
I
show
know
'em
how
off.
to use them.
One time at a Crypticon, I met Felissa Rose, and we watched Sleepaway Camp with her, and we got to kind of
my
mystery
God.
science
That's
theater it with her, and yeah, she signed
She's such a sweetie.
my curling iron. It says "Up yours, Felissa Rose." So
Oh,
Fuck
that's
yeah.
cool.
Fuck yeah.
And she said that was the first time anyone's ever done that, so she didn't charge or anything. She actually hung out with us for a little bit afterwards, too, because she thought we were so funny. She met us during the screening and then hung out with us a little bit afterwards, and she was such a sweetheart, so...
Yeah, she is a complete sweetheart. She is so nice. Like, Jack and I, when we went to... Where was it? I think it was Son of Monsterpalooza, and we interviewed her for Jack's channel at one point, and she was just very welcoming, very, very warm.
I didn't have a channel at the time. I wish I kind of would, because she talks to me. She even still like replies to some things I say to her on Facebook and stuff. So
nice.
I've gotten a few replies from her on Twitter.
Yeah, she's very approachable and very fan friendly. So I like that. Yeah, and we totally dissed on the guy that's in the background of the first and the last return. He came back for his part and returned to Sleepaway Camp, but he's got the short shorts. And for no reason, like, they're having a scene where they're talking, like the kids are playing baseball or whatever, but then in the background, you see that guy with, like, some dumbbells and he's doing jumping jacks. And, like, his junk's gonna fall out of his shorts at any second. You can tell. Like, it's like, oh, God.
They should have kept filming. Let it happen.
Yeah.
Give Gory her dongs.
He's like, even though he's an actual character in the movie, he's an annoying extra. Like, look, I'm on camera. Like, look at me. It's like, you're supposed to just walk by, dude.
Yep.
But oh well. So fictional summer camps, though. If you had gone to one, which fictional summer camp would you have loved to have gone to?
Ooh. The one in Heavyweights, but like not the shitty version when the guy takes over, but just
before Ben Stiller gets there and ruins everything. Like,
yes, that seems like a really fun camp.
I love that movie. That movie was hilarious. Yeah. He almost like had the same role in Dodgeball later. Like, it almost seemed like it was the same character.
Yeah, basically played the same character.
Lee?
Are we talking horror camp?
It can be any fictional at this point. We'll get to horror.
I think Meatballs might be a good one.
Meatballs is a good
Meatballs.
one.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's some nice looking chicks in Meatballs. So.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, there was. So.
Sleepaway Camp's kind of
you
weird
get to have
because
an
everybody
alien
looks
friend.
like they're 12.
I think I'm going to go with, I guess, Camp Nowhere, because then I get to hang out with Christopher Lloyd.
I forgot about that movie.
And it was kind of like they just made it up and just did what they wanted.
No rules.
No rules
just fucking
at all.
around.
Like, he was basically their hostage, though. They're, like, blackmailing him.
Yeah.
Now, all right, what was your first impression of, like, just what horror made you think of camp? Like, did it make you wish that you did go just because it would have been kind of thrilling? You know, you probably wouldn't have been a slasher in real life, or does it actually scare the shit out of you that you don't want to go?
Like, okay. Is the question, like, how horror made me feel about camp, or how I felt?
How horror made you feel about going to summer camps, hypothetically?
Horror made me feel like camp is awesome if you're a counselor and there are people to sleep with. That's what horror taught me.
But if you
the non-horror movies focused on the other fun parts.
Yeah.
But that's basically what horror taught me about summer camp.
All right, Lee.
Probably like the campground for Friday the 13th Part 2. Well, they all go to the same camp anyway, so I guess the crop of kids in Friday the 13th Part 2, actually Part 4. I'd like the kids in Part 4, like, so if the teenagers were like them, then I would have liked it the most, I guess. I guess it depends on the people that you're around.
Yeah, 4, they were technically counselors, but I would have to say 4 is probably the most likable, like, teenage cast in all the Friends.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like,
yeah. You only have one movie, I think, that's got actual kids in it.
Yeah, that's
true.
6 is the only one that takes place with an active camp. And Jason just kind of, like, ignores them. He does kill counselors that aren't misbehaving, though. Like, even counselors that are doing what they're supposed to be doing, he still kills them, so...
They still kill them.
He's like, fuck it,
if you're in the way,
I'm zombie Jason now, Frankenstein resurrection, and just kill anything that's this tall or something. Well, I think that short little guy with the paintball, he killed him, too, so, I don't know. He knows what adults are. That guy didn't act like an adult, though.
Yeah.
It's almost like an Ernest Goes to Camp moment meets Friday the 13th, so...
Very accurate.
I was actually rooting for that guy. That was like one of the saddest deaths when I was a kid. Cause it's just anybody who's lovable, goofy like that. I was like, oh, don't kill them. They're innocent.
I always love the goofy characters. They're always my heroes. Like
what do you guys think about Shelley?
Shelley, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I rooted for Shelley.
I was going to bring up Shelley.
Part 3.
You knew it was going to come up eventually.
He was kind of a little annoying with his pranks, but I liked him, and especially as a kid.
I really wanted them to put Shelley in the game.
Yeah.
Badly.
Yeah, I kind of tore Shelley to shreds in my review, but then Lindsay from that horror, she set me straight. She told me why he's the character. So
Well,
she likes Shelley.
She turned me around.
He kind of saved the day. I mean, he like started problems with those bikers, and they kind of show up and mix it up with Jason, and that kind of helped out. I mean, if he wouldn't
at least he was brave, you know.
Yeah, so his bumbling was useful.
Yeah,
that one gang member was a little bit too happy though. The guy that punched one. Gang members aren't that happy.
They should.
I love how dated those gang members looked.
Very Double Dragon style.
Like they came straight out of a Michael Jackson music video.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
They're gonna tie their wrists together and dance and throw down because they're bad.
They could almost be in the Black Widows.
The shocks. I guess there was technically kind of an open. In the very first of the Friday the 13th, like in the beginning, there's an open camp, but like by the time you get to the main movie, like it's just people setting it up again, like getting ready to be counselors.
Yes, it was up at the camp, like the kids just never show up.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get to that. And Friday the 13th is kind of the biggest one. What are your guys' like favorites of some of the more obscure, I guess?
Probably The Burning.
Oh,
really big fan of The Burning. There was one that we talked about before stream, Stage Fright, that I really like because the weird horror musical hybrid is fun.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with the 80s Stage Fright, which is an awesome movie, but a different movie.
Yeah. I had a hard time, like, it was like not much of a reboot. It was just kind of a similar plot with the same name, so.
And I guess it's not obscure, but Sleepaway Camp is definitely high up there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
What's funny is I'm kind of late to a lot of the camp movies, but I saw The Burning last year for the first time, loved it. Sleepaway Camp I saw about 5 years ago, and I'd never even heard of that movie. And a buddy of mine, he was like really into like camp horror, and he was like, "Have you ever seen Sleepaway Camp?" And I was like, "No, never heard of it." And he was like,
"Oh man!"
He like ran to find the movie and give it to me. So you have to watch this. I don't want to tell you anything, and then just tell me what you think at the end. When I saw that ending, I was just like, "Holy shit!" So yeah, Sleepaway Camp's high up there. I love that movie.
I had the original on VHS, so me and a couple of my close friends, we knew about it, but I remember just marking out like insanely when Robot Chicken made fun of it. And they're like, somebody remembered this movie? And we're just all like, yes, we know this movie. Now people might know this movie too. So
it's that ending, man. That ending just sticks with you.
That and the curling iron, like.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Whoa, I know where she put that. So.
Yeah, what's cool about it is like the first time you watch it, all you think about is that ending after.
Yeah.
So when you go back and watch it again, then you kind of find something new about. Like I love the score actually of that movie.
The score's great.
It's a really good score.
That one kid that like dies underneath the canoe with her or whatever. For the longest time I thought that was a young Tom Cruise or something, but I guess that kid it wasn't. And but I guess he got hurt and like hurt his leg really bad. And he almost really drowned in that scene. So.
Ooh, ouch!
Oh, at the beginning?
No, like the one guy that he's kind of a bully that she's kind of into him or whatever, and he's like underneath the canoe and he like drowns. Yeah. I was like. Huh. But yeah, when I was little, I was like, is that Tom Cruise?
Poor dude.
And it's before like IMDb.
Stay safe, my dudes.
Like VHS days, is I didn't have IMDb to go check these things out, and for some reason I don't know. I mean, I should have looked at the credits, but it's not him. So
I was actually going to mention The Final Girls, Gory.
Oh yeah, that was a good. I didn't even think of that one. That's a good one. Yeah,
really we love The Final Girls. We had a fun time reviewing that. We had Gory take down some masked killer, a little opening for it. So that is a really good one. It's a really good throwback to all the old ones that we're mentioning. So
most definitely.
Probably my favorite of the modern.
I still need to get the Blu-ray too. I still have not bought the Blu-ray for Final Girls. Me too.
I should pick that up too.
Insisted on paying like full price at Hastings. I think they even charge more at Hastings. It was the only place in town that like had it, and she's like, her dollar really needs to count because she wanted movies like that to really get supported. So sometimes we like wait for them to be like cheaper at Walmart or something, but
yeah.
Sometimes you just want to support the movie, especially when you know that it's so obscure that most people didn't check it out.
Just sad. I feel like the producers messed too much with this movie.
I agree.
The script
needed to be rated R.
It did, and it didn't need a lot of like tits and blood. I love the story, even as PG-13. I love it. It's good.
Well, yeah, it's a testament to how good that movie is. That at PG-13, it's still fantastic.
Yeah, but I know that they originally were going for an R, and the fact that it's paying an homage to all these movies that are rated R. And I believe the character Tina. She's like, why does he hate my boobs so much? And they have so much build-up on that. Even if that would have been the only scene that showed a little bit of boobs, that needed to show it right then. It was like neutering the movie and blue-balling the audience by just having so much build-up just to pan upward. It's like, oh, dicks. But it's the producers. They meddled way too much than what the directors wanted. And they're like, well, if it's too gory and boobs, women won't watch it. But if it's sentimental about her and her mom, dudes won't watch it. It's like, no.
Which just goes to show they don't understand the horror audience, because that's not going to turn off any female that's a horror fan at all.
I'm surprised.
And why not make that movie R anyway? Because it's such a niche title. Were they expecting like heavy box office numbers?
No, they didn't.
I don't even think it was released in theaters. Was it?
Exactly. That's the whole point. I mean, I would have got it a little more if they're like, well, this needs a theatrical release. We want teenagers to see it or something. But that wasn't even the thing. It still went straight to video and stuff. So
especially since like when it comes to movies that end up going direct to video essentially anyway, they tend to do better when they're like unrated, because everyone's like, oh man, I'm watching this like unrated thing. It's naughty, it's bad, it's dangerous, and that just feeds into the marketing. So why not?
That was for me the big sell to switch to DVD when DVDs first became a thing. It's like, oh my god, I'm getting director's cuts and unrated cuts, and they have deleted scenes and stuff I'm not supposed to see. Like VHSs would very rarely show you those deleted scenes. Sometimes in the very end, some VHS would have it, but not very often. So
that's what started my DVD and Blu-ray collecting habit, was like getting all those like 80s slasher movies where they put in all the kills that were cut out and on the cutting room floor. Like a good example of that being My Bloody Valentine or Silent Night, Deadly Night. Like those movies are so much better with those scenes in, and they flow so much better. And I'm just like, well, this should have been the normal movie. There's no reason why this shouldn't have been approved. But the MPAA had it out for slashers at one point.
I only watched My Bloody Valentine with the cut scenes in, even though they look pretty bad. I can't watch the movie without those scenes in.
Yeah, it feels like something's missing, because it is.
Exactly.
It was just bad, and I loved it wasn't like even my favorite movie, but I loved the DVD of Joyride because it had so many features on the DVD. It's like it even had like a 43-minute long extra ending that was like, you're like, whoa. That's why I love that stuff. I hate it when I get a DVD and there's like no special features. Like there's like the trailer.
Oh god.
That's it.
It's even worse when you get a Blu-ray or something of like a major feature that was in theaters and there's nothing on it. Yep. It's just the movie, and you're like, what?
And some DVDs I refuse to like exchange until I get a proper Blu-ray that will have something, because I'll like have the DVD has features, but then the Blu-ray has nothing. So like, no, I don't need.
There are plenty of doubles that I have for that reason.
So we usually we keep the Blu-ray case, but we shove the DVD into little sleeves and put it in there with it, so that way we can have shelf space, because our shelf is ridiculously full.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So, but we never like.
This is one of 3 in this apartment right now.
Yes. Tom Cruise is in the chat.
Hey, all right.
Bring
Cruise.
Out the controversy. The Tom Cruise?
The Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
A sausage party up in here.
Shouldn't he be in the hospital right now?
Oh my god.
Hurt leg.
Show me the money, Cruise. Show me the money.
Licking those wounds from the Mummy release. So.
Hey, wasn't there like a DVD feature in like one of those White Castle movies? Where the extra feature was they walked into a party and everybody went from bottomless to topless. Like you could select that option.
Perfect.
It's like Harold and Kumar stuff right there.
Yeah, it was a Harold and Kumar movie. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a bottomless party.
Yeah, it went from a topless party to in the theaters they showed the topless party, but on the DVD you could do the bottomless.
Yeah, I remember that.
DVD has the bottomless version, the unrated one.
Pretty creative.
Like the girls have like American flag dyed pubic hair and stuff. It's pretty funny.
In the second Austin Powers movie on the DVD, there's like a hidden feature in there that unlocks a completely different set of special features.
Oh, nice! I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like another whole page of special features that's like hidden.
That's cool.
Yeah, I love my DVD of Memento because you can play around with it and have it play in order and everything. It's so interesting.
That's cool.
So.
I love when they used to put like little hidden features where if like you click something on the screen, you'll find like some sort of hidden gem. I remember like I think it was the Spider-Man 2 DVD. If you clicked on this one like little tentacle that on Doc Ock, you would get Doc Ock doing this Fiddler on the Roof bit. Just this little
the Star Wars DVDs were pretty big into that. Like every single one of them, they had like one where Yoda was like breakdancing and stuff.
I had like Ninja Turtles and Aliens. They had like these weird like maze games. They had really bad graphics, but you like try to work your way through a maze and stuff. And it's like weird. And an alien will get you, or a foot ninja if it's the Turtles one. It's like, okay. I love that stuff. It was just, that's what I wanted more. And eventually DVDs stopped kind of doing that. And then Blu-rays started kind of doing that. But even some Blu-rays, it's like, get with the program. Like,
that's why the companies that are catering to the collector's market are doing so well on Blu-ray right now, because they know that if you're a collector, you want that.
Yes.
You want every single feature you can possibly get.
Oh yeah.
So they're going out of their way to just pack those Blu-rays, and I love them. Scream Factory, Arrow, you guys are fantastic.
And sometimes it's a movie that I wouldn't even really want, but if you have a lot of special features in it, it'll pull me in. Like, oh.
I have a few of those that I bought purely because of the features and the art they put on it and stuff.
It's like, if this had no features and it was in the $5 bin at Walmart, I'd probably say, pass. But if you throw all those features on there, I'm like, okay, well,
absolutely.
I'll give this movie a second chance, you know, just for that.
Oh, I bought the first Last House on the Left because the documentary is just it's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I love when they have. I love it when films have like making of docs that are as long as the movie itself. Those are some of my favorites. That's why I love all the home video releases of the Rob Zombie movies, because he always does like a 2-hour documentary on how the movie was made. And whether I like the movie or not, I love seeing that behind the feature stuff.
Yes. All right. To Camp Nightmare, Part 2. Sorry for the technical difficulties, Gory Hole and Guru.
It happens.
And sadly, we lost Lee. He had some business to take care of. I blame all of this on the eclipse, so I looked too directly into it, and now I'm cursed.
What have you done, Danny? What have you done?
All right, we're going to go back to that question that I don't think that the chat got to hear or see.
Yeah.
Out of fictional horror camps, and your parents are sending you to one of them, which one will you choose because you think you will survive?
I'm going to choose Sleepaway Camp for the simple reason that she only kills people in that first movie who wrong her in some way, who are dicks to her, who mistreat her, or otherwise talk about her behind her back. So as long as I go to the camp and I don't mistreat the shy girl, I'll live. Yeah. So that's probably the best chance out of any of those camps.
Just avoid the big pedophile cook. Because
yes. Just avoid that.
Until she kills, once she kills him, you're good.
There we go.
Lee, I will repeat his answer. He chose Friday the 13th Part 5. It is technically kind of for the mentally disturbed children.
Yeah, it's like a mental halfway house.
Yeah,
almost.
but it's in a sense camping. We'll allow it. And he thinks it's just because it's not the real Jason, and Lee was confident he could take him.
Hey, I mean,
fair enough.
He's a man. You can take him down.
He was not Jason the Unkillable, so. I will go with Friday the 13th Part 6 just because Jason didn't go after the kids, so.
Yeah, there you go.
And I'd have a hell of a story to tell people for the rest of my life. I'd be like, yeah, some dude in a hockey mask showed up and killed all the counselors and a bunch of cops. It was
just messed everyone up.
Yeah, we got out of there, so.
There you go.
Anybody in the chat, did you guys go to a summer camp of any sort? Please let us know in the chat.
Let us know.
Gory is monetizing that chat. She will let us know if we miss any comments.
I must know, what camps did you go to and why and when?
Do you want anyone to join your stream? I can make it happen.
Yeah. Piranha, yes. Nightmare Maven mentions Piranha. That also takes place at a summer camp.
I forgot that takes place at a camp. I forgot.
When I was doing research for this, because I'd seen almost all these movies that we're going to probably talk about tonight. I have seen Piranha a couple of times, but not for a really long time. I knew it, and I really wanted to go back and recap on it for this, but I didn't get a chance to do that.
Mm-hmm.
One movie that I really had to go out and find, that I never heard of, but when I was looking up horror camps, was Twisted Nightmare. Have you seen that movie, Guru?
I don't think I've seen that one. No, that doesn't sound familiar.
We watched that last night, and it's never been released to DVD. It's just bad VHS quality. You can find some places to watch it for free online, but
okay,
it's I don't remember where we found, but we had to like search for it. It was VHS quality online, so it was really bad. There was tracking and stuff. But
okay.
It's got a lot of plots that have been stolen from like The Burning. In fact, it's this guy who's doing a very well Cropsey like impersonation. He's kind of sitting there looking kind of brain dead, drooling a little bit. And if you've played the game Until Dawn, it's a little bit like that as well, where they're all out at this Camp Paradise, and then he gets lit on fire somehow. Like it's a prank gone wrong, but I rewatched the scene a couple of times. I don't know how it happened. They were kind of teasing him about girls and stuff, and he ran into a barn, and then he just combusted in flames, and nothing else burned, just him. And then he ran away, and they never found his body. And then like years later, they're all invited back. You want a free trip to Camp Paradise? And like, oh sure, why not? And then he starts killing them in a slasher fashion, but he looks like a wolf man, and he growls, and he's not a wolf man. He acts and sounds like a wolf man, and he still kills people with like nooses and pitchforks, but he just growls and runs around and looks like
sounds
a wolf
bizarre.
Man.
I have to see this at some point.
Twisted Nightmare. That was a very
Twisted Nightmare. Ask for it by name.
Yeah, it's a very obscure camp horror movie that I never heard about until just recently.
Yeah,
well, I heard about it because my friend has a book, and that's what I was looking, because he has a whole section on the camp books, and I was looking in for ideas in there. I was like, okay, and I found it, but it is weird.
Bizarre as hell.
Have you seen Madman, Guru?
I have seen Madman. That's a good one. I like that one.
The famous head underneath the hood.
Very great scene.
Very brutal killer, like murders his family with an axe in the story. And
yep.
It's got like a Blair Witch, I think, cover almost, where he's hiding up in the tree. So
yeah, I always thought that cover wasn't that great, but yeah.
That just made me think of the Blair Witch like dolls that are in the trees.
Yeah, it kind of does.
But no. But he and most killers, especially The Burning, where he's actually even kind of like nicknamed Cropsey or whatever. Have you seen the documentary Cropsey about the real life story?
Yeah. Where it's like half of it. The thing, I love that documentary, but one of the weird things about it is you have two sides of that documentary. You have the one that's on Cropsey itself, and then the one on this other murder guy, who only feels loosely related to Cropsey in any way, so it almost feels like a stretch to connect him with Cropsey.
Yeah.
So my only problem with that documentary is that I feel like that should have been two separate documentaries, one on Cropsey and then one on this crazy murder.
Rand. His name was Andre Rand, and he was never convicted of murder, but convicted twice, and got like 25 years each for kidnapping. That's the most they could get him on. And then when he got out for the first 25 years, he went to trial and did another. So he's in there forever. I think he's still alive. But yeah, it's what Cropsey is loosely based off. Like it was a legend before children started missing. But,
yeah.
Like what's his name? Geraldo. I'm probably saying that wrong, but the guy that exposed that place for mentally challenged.
Geraldo?
Yeah, Geraldo. He mentally challenged place for children, and it's like they were like living like rats, and he like exposed them. It's not a healthy place to put kids. It was like they're getting thrown away. And then the Andre Rand guy apparently was kind of squatting in that abandoned building and stuff. So through that documentary though, what are your thoughts on him? Do you think that he was guilty?
I have no idea, to be honest. There was a lot of evidence that he was, and there was some evidence that he was just misidentified, but at the same time, I don't know. Yeah. No strong opinions.
I didn't have like I wouldn't have been able to convict him on what I saw, like the evidence. I think he probably did, but I don't know. Not enough to like I strongly say it. I'm only going off of what I've read and saw in the documentary, so I can't say.
And I'm always skeptical about documentaries like that because you never quite know if they're giving you the whole picture.
And they want to sell their documentary. They want you know, so it's a little glammed up a tiny bit. So
yeah, absolutely.
Well, that's the thing. They had like 3 different like theories on if he is the killer. One, that he was like passing the children around to other homeless people that were squatting there, and they were just kind of using the children and discarding them. 2, that he was just a pawn for a satanic cult, like that. What was I think I wrote
all the rage, the satanic panic.
The cult, the Process Church of the Final Judgment, which I guess there was an active Satanist that lived there, but there was no proof that he was doing anything like that. I mean,
yeah,
Jack's a Satanist, but no one's suspecting him of killing anybody. It's just
they mainly just have orgies, you know. That's their thing.
Yeah, it's sexual. It's good. Everyone love.
You know, they have virgin sacrifices, but it's not sacrificing a virgin to death. It's sleeping with the virgin.
Yeah, they're taking away the virginity. That's what's being sacrificed there.
Yeah.
I mean, there is a little blood in that, I suppose, but a little bit. And then the third one, I guess it's kind of what I would assume if it was true, like if he is the killer, was that he was cleansing the earth of disabilities, because in that Geraldo video where they shows all the children, the guy he was in the background of that, like he was an employee.
Interesting.
He was an employee there, and then later he was like a janitor at a apartment building where one of the kids went missing, but he was a janitor, I believe, at that facility. So he seemed, and a lot of people, I mean, it's just word of mouth saying that he would talk about how he didn't like disability and how wrong it was, and that's what that whole Geraldo thing was about, in a sense, that we were throwing away our garbage like that, which is sad. It really is. But
yeah.
So he was like cleaning the streets in his way, and now, like I said, it's all hearsay, but I think if he really did do it, it was probably that. I don't think he was in a cult, like a pawn, sacrificing stuff. I don't think that was happening.
Entirely possible. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's all in Staten Island. But a lot of these killers that are, like, from Madman and stuff and The Burning, they're based off the Cropsey legend, which...
A lot of them are, yeah.
So, and this guy kind of gives a truth to that legend, even though it's still just kind of a coincidence. Like, don't go into the woods.
It's such a loose connection, but I can see how it was made. But I still kind of feel like when I watched that documentary, I would have rather 2 separate documentaries. You can allude to the fact...
Yeah, I would like one separately focused on just the legend, where they did that a little bit at first, but then they went more into him, where missing children, and we all think it's this guy. It's like, well, that's interesting too, but I want to hear just more of like the legend of what was scaring people in Staten Island woods.
Exactly.
So, but... Yeah, I don't think I would survive Madman or anything like that.
Probably not.
Those movies.
I would not survive The Burning. I would probably not survive Friday the 13th unless I was a kid.
I love how it's got what's his name from Seinfeld, George in The Burning. He's young and had hair still, but he still didn't really pass as a young enough like camp guy for me. I was like, is he supposed to be a kid? Because he didn't really seem like he was a counselor in that movie. He seemed like he was
80s movies were terrible at having counselors that didn't look like they were in their like late 20s.
Yeah, and some of the children too. It's like they're teenagers, but they're Saved by Belling this, where they've been in high school for at least 8 years. It's like, what? They're getting
pretty much
old. Oh well, better than the new class. So, has anybody in the chat said anything about going to summer camp? Because I have yet to find someone who's like legitimately been to a summer camp.
Yeah. Like I said, I think we're like a generation removed from when that was a thing.
It's kind of sad.
You know, we did have this thing when I was a kid where, like, for like 2 weeks, you signed a permission slip and you essentially go live in a camp for 2 weeks through your elementary school. But I opted out of that because my allergies were just I had really bad asthma at the time, and my allergies and asthma were linked. And if I were to go there and have an asthma attack, it'd just be bad.
Geez, yeah. That's kind of like what I went to. It was through my school, and it wasn't technically in the summer. It was just spring, but it got me out of school, so I was happy for it.
Because school's out during summer, they usually did it during spring. Apparently, Stephanie in the chat went to a Girl Scout camp, so I guess there is like some camping, but it's usually through Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts.
Yeah. I've taken Laws to camps, but they were only weekend longs, and I was with him the whole time, so it's not exactly the same. But they had a lot of the same activities.
Yeah, yeah.
Went to my son's Boy Scout camp. All right. Monty G did that. Stephanie went to Girl Scout camp. Tom Cruise. Winters in Florida is the best. Okay, Tom Cruise.
God damn it, Tom Cruise. What are you doing here, Tom Cruise? Get out of here. Go make a better movie.
Yeah. That Mummy movie. I haven't even finished it yet. I got about halfway through it. And I was like, maybe I'll come back to this.
This is really bad.
Wasn't Dracula the Untold Story supposed to be their first cinematic universe?
And then they abandoned it immediately.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It was.
And I'm like, are you going to do that with this one? Because...
Well, now it has some star power linked to it, I guess, but...
It wasn't enough.
It was still horrible. I mean, I think maybe for the mainstream, they might be slightly interested in Tom Cruise movies, but that's for people who like Tom Cruise movies, not for anybody who likes the Mummy or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's like... I know he's watching me.
Don't hate on my gifts.
Fucking Tom Cruise.
Go run really fast for a really long time. That's what you're good at, Tom Cruise.
Get taller, Tom Cruise. You short motherfucker.
Yeah, I'm like actually like a half an inch taller than Tom Cruise apparently, which
Apparently Tom Cruise loves Tom Cruise movies. Who knew?
Well, somebody's got it. I think I gave up around Mission Impossible 2. Like I was just like, no.
Here's the thing: Mission Impossible 3 and 4 are actually pretty good.
Are they?
2 is awful. 2 is just atrocious.
I
3
remember,
and 4 are actually pretty good.
I had it, like someone, it was like one of the first DVDs I got, but I didn't want it. Someone gave it to me for Christmas, so like Mission Impossible 2, and it had that Metallica music video in it.
Yeah, I disappear, yeah.
I am pain, I am supper, I am fear, I disappear. He says supper. I think he means suffer, but he said supper. I'm like, he's saying supper. Like, who's eating him, Hetfield? Who's eating you, Hetfield? But that kind of ruined Metallica for me, and just like I gave up on Tom Cruise movies. Like, and then
that song that ruined Metallica, not that entire fucking Saint Anger album or Lulu.
Well, I think Saint Anger came out after that solo.
It was right after,
right
yeah.
after it, but I didn't mind Garage Inc. because that's other people's songs. But
Garage Inc. was fine.
Yeah,
Garage Inc. was fine.
That wasn't their own
S&M
material.
fine.
S&M was pretty good. But that was just kind of like rehashing stuff that I enjoyed, so I didn't mind. I didn't mind doing them, like having covers of bands, but I didn't care too much for Load and Reload all that much. I hadn't like given up on Metallica, but I didn't.
Load and Reload, each album has fantastic songs on it. Yeah. So if you just smashed them into one album and like cut out the fat, it'd be way better.
Yeah, like their old albums are just pretty much great all the way through, and that's why I loved it. But then Load and Reload is like, there's a few gems in there, but there's also some no reason songs like I just don't need to listen to. And then Corey is just cracking up about Tom Cruise. So, but yeah, and then the Saint Anger, someone gave it to me because a friend bought it, and they were just like, I don't want this.
Hey, he's madly in anger with you, dude. Madly in anger with you.
And then I remember...
Greatest lyric ever.
I remember, Tom Cruise, that you threw a fit with South Park about making fun of your Scientology. And
this has just become the Tom Cruise stream now.
We'll get back on topic here in a little bit, but...
I don't think Tom Cruise is in a camp movie. I can't think of one.
No, Days of Thunder... No, he didn't have to... He kind of had to learn how to...
It's a race car movie.
Yeah, but he didn't have to go to driving camp. Also...
Michael Myers versus Tom Cruise. Discuss.
Michael Myers versus Michael Myers. All the way.
Are we talking like the comedian Michael Myers or the killer Michael Myers?
Either one, all the way. They would whoop
What if
Tom
it's the
Cruise's
comedian
ass.
playing the killer?
Either way, Mike Myers would whoop Tom Cruise's ass. He wasn't that unkillable in Interview with a Vampire. They brought him back, but he got his ass whooped in that too. They had to bring him back. I don't know. Something tells me that Tom Cruise in real life would get his ass whooped by almost anything. I don't know why.
Probably.
But I could be wrong. I don't know Tom Cruise. I'm running to your house from New York right now. See you in 2 hours. Yeah, it'll take you about 2 hours. That'll probably be a whole movie. And then you'll be here when your movie's done. Alright, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Mission Impossible 3. I never saw that because they threw a big fit because South Park made fun of Scientology. Tom Cruise went on and said, if you don't stop that episode and take that out, we will not allow Comedy Central to have commercials for Mission Impossible 3. It's like, that means less advertisement for your movie.
I know.
How's that hurting them? And so I loved how Comedy Central, they stuck by Trey Parker and Matt Stone and said, no, we're not going to cave into that. And that's kind of why I haven't seen the other Mission Impossibles. I hear that they're better than 2, like especially you just told me. So I will definitely take your word on it if you say that.
Yeah, if you're gonna watch Mission Impossible movies, I would actually skip the first and the second and just go to 3 because I like 3 and 4.
All right, well, I'll keep that in mind. If I'm bored and there's a 3 and 4 are laying around.
One is Abrams. Abrams did 3, and I think the 4th one was the director of Iron Giant doing his first live action feature. Brad Bird. It was Brad Bird. So yeah. Oh yeah, I actually haven't seen 5, so I can't comment on 5, but I like 3 and 4.
Oh, there's a 5 now. I didn't even know. I thought the Mummy was part 5. But all right, Mummy Impossible. Where were we? Have you seen all the Sleepaway Camp movies? I think you probably have.
I have seen 1, 2, and 3. I have not seen that weird Return to Sleepaway Camp or that unfinished one.
Oh,
I have not seen either of those 2.
I do have the unfinished one here in the survival kit that I got Gory one year. It's not much. It gives you a loose base of a woman running around through the woods and some death scenes, but that's about it. It was going to be called The Survivor, I guess. And then 4, or whatever, Return to Sleepaway Camp. It's a pretty good movie.
I heard only bad things about it.
Mostly because there's this one kid. Once I talked to Felissa, because she's in this, and she's great in it. She comes back, reprises her role.
Spoilers.
That's good.
Yeah, spoilers. But there is this annoying, obnoxious man-child kid in this movie. And he is a grown anytime he's on the scene. And that is, like, the reason why it, like, is such a bad movie in my eyes. There's some kills that have nothing to do with him that are pretty good. She's good. The story would have been good. Isaac Hayes, speaking of Scientology, is in half of the movie. Then he disappears. He never gets killed. He just disappears halfway through. And he's dressed like Chef from South Park. Big old red shirt and everything.
That's awesome. That's cool.
So, I don't know. I would recommend seeing it, but just be...
I want to see it at some point.
You
because
should.
At least it's a complete movie.
It is. And it gives me hope for another one. Without that actor in it, I think I would like it. So, and I don't think he would come back for it. I know that Felissa would be down. She was also talking about how they contacted her if they did a reboot. They were asking about her being the crazy aunt. Which,
there you go.
Which
there
drives the kid to be transgender to begin with. So,
like, here's the thing about her is, like, she's so great. If you wanted to do a reboot, you could have her be the crazy aunt. You could have her be the head of the camp. You could do any of that, and she would just slide right into the role, and it'd be great. You know, it's great to have those little cameos.
Exactly.
Like I love watching Supergirl and what's her name, Wonder Woman from the 70s shows up as the
oh, okay. Yeah.
as the president on that show, and it's just like, oh, that's a cool nod. That's a cool nod to have show up.
In fact, me and Gory have been talking about it. We really hope, because they haven't announced who's casted as the adults in it yet, but we're really hoping that Seth Green now can play adult Richie, since he was young Richie in the original.
That would be a cool choice.
That would be I would enjoy that. The only thing that I'm hoping in that reboot that they do leave out again is the train they all run on Beverly in the book. That's like, if you're like, talk about something that you like, but then say it as worst way, like describe it in the worst way possible. But like, okay, 6 11-year-old boys take an 11-year-old girl into the sewers where they all get scared and fight their imagination, and then they all have sex with her.
I am so hoping that movie's good. I'm worried.
I'm worried too.
I'm worried, but it looks. My problem is that everything about the movie looks good, but Pennywise looks like he's trying too hard. That's it.
You think Pennywise? Well, it's gonna be hard because I love Tim Curry's Pennywise. I'm willing to give this one a chance. I really think he's I liked him in that one Netflix show. What was that called, Gory?
Dead of Summer.
Was he in Dead of Summer?
Wait, what are you talking about?
The one that Pennywise is in, with the werewolves and the vampires.
Oh, are you talking about Brain? God damn it.
He was the vampire in it. And it had a really great werewolf.
Hemlock Grove?
Yeah, Hemlock
Yeah,
Grove.
Hemlock Grove.
There we go. The name was escaping me, but yeah.
The Eli Roth show.
Yeah, Eli Roth show, which I liked that show. So at least, especially the first season. I really liked the first season a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It had a great werewolf transformation.
Yeah, that transformation's great.
Like,
I need to watch more of the show. I think I watched like the first 3 episodes and then like got distracted with something else.
I think I need to finish season 3, but
Mm-hmm.
I did watch the first 2 seasons and I think some of 3, and I loved for season 1 especially. Season 2 is good, but it gets a little out there, like just kind of some stuff is going on. And it's like hard to keep track of everything. But that's how some shows go once they've done that. Speaking of a show, back to camp. Have you seen Dead of Summer?
Dead of Summer. Yeah. No, I don't think I've actually seen Dead of Summer.
It's a pretty cool show. It's only 1 season. I would almost say it's a mini-series. It is more like a show, but I don't think they were ever planning a season 2 because the way it all wraps up. I won't spoil that, but it plays kind of like a Orange is the New Black, where almost each episode is about a different camper or counselor.
Oh, okay.
And gives you their history, and they all have their own kind of morbid reason of why they're at camp and what's going on with them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got slashers and demons and all kinds of stuff going on, ghosts.
I'll have to check it out at some point. That sounds good.
Dead of Summer is a really good one. I recommend that.
I've really been wanting, as they do, since they did that Wet Hot American Summer show.
Yeah.
I really wanted them to start doing some spoofing of the horror summer camp movies, since that's the one summer camp trope that they didn't touch.
Yeah.
I would love to see them do that.
That first Wet Hot American Summer, it almost, like, if you could have just tweaked the script, that could have been a horror movie. Like, it was almost set up to be one. So.
Yeah.
And then they have, like, the TV shows, the first year and then, like, the last year, or 10 years later, or whatever. So there's, like, prequel and sequel TV shows.
Yep.
But, yeah.
And everyone looks the same age. It's beautiful.
Yeah, they just don't. They don't even try. Oh, that's what we were talking about with you before the stream. But yes, we watched Bloody Bible Camp.
Bloody Bible Camp.
And I take it you haven't seen that yet.
I have not seen that one. No, I can't say I've seen it.
I have mixed feelings on it. It was enjoyable. It's a very it doesn't take itself seriously, and that's kind of why I like it.
It stink.
Gory thinks it stinks. It stinks. I agree. The killer was not great. But
like, the problem is that you'd have to make it a fun movie, because you're never going to make a horror movie set in a Bible camp scarier than the documentary Jesus Camp.
Oh, no.
You're never going to match that.
Nothing like that. I'm assuming any Bible camp that happened in real life would be way scarier than any Bible camp movie, unless it's, based off of those. But no, it was all right. I love how it takes place in the 70s, and they're talking about how they just saw Star Wars and it sucked. It's gonna bomb, and then there's a killing, and I didn't really care for those people who got killed right there. But then it quickly jumps to the 80s. They go into a very modern convenience store that has all the local, like, Doritos and Pepsi logos that are modern, but this is the 80s. It's like they didn't try. There's, like, those juice beers, but, like, giant ones that they didn't have then. But it was fun. It didn't take itself seriously. I enjoyed the second group of counselor kids that are going to this Bible thing. The killer wasn't great. He was kind of whiny, but... and it was very religious. A religious killer. Of course, it's Bible camp. It should be.
Well, it's Bible camp. What else would it be? It would either be a Satanist killer or a religious killer. One of the two.
Exactly. And that was fine. Cross-dressing as a nun, which was and had a kind of Angela backstory, but just not likable or very iconic. Didn't look great. But
that's too bad.
It's still, I don't know. It's a fun movie. I think you might like it. It's kind of up your splatter type. Gory's not.
I do like ridiculously bad splatter movies.
I think I looked up the review from Blood Bath and Beyond. They loved it, so. They're into those type of movies from what I've just looked at.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
I love those guys. But I'm convinced that whether they like a movie or not depends on how drunk they were when they watched it.
It very might well be. That sometimes is for me as well. So.
Yeah.
And it also when it catches me. I saw another movie that was similar plot. It was more of a bachelorette road trip. Hills Have Eyes, but a very religious killers as well. and it took itself way too seriously. It was like called Blood Valley Seeds Revenge. I'm not even sure if it was.
I've never even heard of that one.
I saw that very recently as well, and I did not like that. It was just because the movie didn't have a lot of fun, and it so many time jumps. Like they show you a lot of the gruesome kills to these people right off the bat, and then time jump to where I'm supposed to give a shit about them later. Like I know what's gonna happen to them. And none of it really made any sense, and the killers all kind of turn on themselves for no reason at all. And
interesting.
I was like, oh, this movie is not good. Like
doesn't sound good.
Not even an enjoyable good. Like the gore was okay-ish, but Bloody Bible Camp. Now that it didn't take itself too seriously, so I enjoyed. I'm not gonna say it was a great movie, but it was not. But it's fun. And that's how I feel about some of those.
I shall put it on my long list of things I need to see at some point.
Yeah. I don't even like to look at my list on Netflix because it wraps around. It's
like because I mean you probably go through this because you guys got a YouTube channel and you do horror reviews. Like every day I get like 100 recommendations and like they're not always the same recommendations. So I have like this long list of movies that I'm like, God damn, I gotta get to these eventually.
Yep. And we gotta try and, even though we don't review every modern, we try to watch every movie that came out this year, just so for our list, and if anybody watches our letterbox or follows us on there, it's like, yeah, we gotta just try. I wish I had time to review.
Well, you want to keep yourself up to date, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Like if you're gonna be like the horror expert, you need to know what movies just recently came out because the question is always gonna come up, no matter who you meet. You tell them you're a horror reviewer, and their first question's gonna be, okay, what's a good movie I can go see this year?
Yep, they're going to ask that.
Consistently.
They're going to ask, what'd you think of this?
You know?
And
right now, every time someone asks me that question, it's The Void, because that movie was great.
I like The Void. Gory was not big on The Void, but I liked The Void. I liked it a lot.
I'm disappointed in you, Gory. I know you can't hear me.
She feels your disappointment. But she gave it a second chance and liked it a little more the second time through. But
it was hard to get through.
She felt it was too boring for her. I don't know.
Boring?
I wasn't bored. I had to watch it twice too because she was she was disliking it so much the first time we watched it. I had to go back and watch it by myself to really because I knew that I'd like it more if I watched it by myself. So. But that's how it goes. We agree on a lot of movies, but not always. Like we usually tend to agree on most movies, but not. I lost my voice.
It's okay. It's okay. It happens.
Poor Tom Cruise just discovered the Gory Draws Dogs page.
Have you seen Camp Slaughter, Guru?
Camp Slaughter.
It's fairly modern. I think it's in the.
Let me look this one up. Because the name sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if I've seen it.
I believe it's
Camp
somewhere
Slaughter.
in the 2000s.
Oh, yes, I remember renting this cover.
Yeah.
I don't remember shit about the movie, but that cover with the girl and the axe, I remember that.
That's about all I really remember about it as well. I did rent that, but I was hoping maybe you would know more about it. I didn't have a chance to go back and rewatch it.
I don't remember shit about it, but I definitely remember renting that cover at some point.
It's an older movie, and it is a horror movie technically, but it's not in our normal way. Have you ever seen Summer Camp Nightmare?
Summer Camp Nightmare?
Yeah.
Let me, once again, I'm going to have to look this up to see.
Summer Camp... Right. Am I looking at this right? Yeah, no,
Yeah, there's a movie called Summer Camp Nightmare.
Yeah, okay, yeah, it's Summer Camp Nightmare. That's what I'm talking about. It has like a kid with a gun.
I do not think I've seen this one.
I have. It is more of a Lord of the Flies type thing, though. Like, the counselors are complete dicks like in Heavyweights, but the kids use lethal means to take over the camp. So, and it's from the kids' point of view, so it's not so much of a scary movie. Like, it's more of a thriller, I guess. But it is a horror movie, technically, just not in the standard way.
Yeah.
I've seen that. It's pretty good. It's very Lord of the Flies type thing, but at a summer camp and some killing.
I'll check that out sometime. I've not seen that one.
You know, there's some killing. There's also some talking though. You got to get through some talking. But
I am always excited though when I find out about some 80s horror film that I've never seen.
Well, check that out. It's a pretty good 80s horror film in a sense. More of a thriller horror. Piranha is the same way. We talked about that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, we talked about Piranha. And I completely forgot that's set in a summer camp. Like, that's how long it's been since I've seen it.
I had to, look up which one it was. I'm like, is it the Peter Jackson one with the flying fish at summer camp, or was it the regular one at summer camp? Because it's the regular one. The flying fish is just, I think, just people at the lake.
Yeah, because I remember The Spawning, and I remember Piranha 3D, but the original Piranha I barely remember.
It wasn't a lot to it. They would show Piranha stock footage when kids would fall and people would fall into the water. So
yeah,
a lot of red water and a lot of kicking in the water. It was fairly enjoyable, but you don't see a whole lot. I love the Piranha remakes. They have nothing to do with camp, but they are just hilarious.
Get Richard Dreyfuss back for a Jaws sequel, so he did that.
Yep, he did that. So, have you seen the Piranha? You've seen the Piranha remakes. I think you just said that.
Piranha 3D is amazing. Yeah. I love that movie.
With Hasselhoff.
Piranha 3 Double D is not as good.
I like Hasselhoff in it, but that's about it. And I love how the kid dies because he doesn't listen to Hasselhoff. But yeah, 3D was really good. The original one. Gory loves when the dude's penis gets burped up by the piranha.
That bit's great.
She loves herself some severed dong.
Pendectomy.
Pendectomy is by fish.
By anything.
By anything.
Hey, any movie that actually has an exposed penis gets a thumbs up in my book because fuck that shit.
Exactly.
Fuck that double standard.
Oh
That's
yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, there should be equal standards of gore and nudity. And...
If we're gonna have all these tits, which I want.
Yeah.
Let's give the ladies something, you know?
Exactly. Then that's a better way than to go about it than the Final Girls is like, oh, we can't have it. We have women in horror. No, just give a little more of what the women want to see, you know?
Is that a doggy I'm seeing right now?
A doggy? Oh, yeah, that is a Brocky. He is named after Dave Brocky, odorous from Guar.
Hey, Dave Brocky. Aw. Doggy. Doggy.
He
oh my God, it's a puppy.
It wasn't summer camp, but we had our family reunion Knightmare camp out, where I was given my Indian name, Falling Rock. So,
aww.
And he went and had a blast. Though he got a little bit of barbed wire scratches on him. I don't know why he chose.
Oh no!
He could have easily fit underneath the barbed wire fence, but for some reason he wanted to jump over the first rung.
Ouch.
It didn't go deep by any means, and we put some first aid spray and stuff on him, but. He scraped his belly. I feel bad.
Silly dog. Silly dog.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't even really bleed, but there is a noticeable scratch that is even still there, so...
Poor puppy.
And we're gonna go camping again next weekend, but not anywhere near barbed wire. It's more at the lake, so...
You gonna go summer camping?
Summer camping at the lake...
See, bad idea. Bad idea. I know you two. You two are you're gonna have all the sex and stuff like that, and then the slasher's gonna show up, and then what's gonna happen to Lulz if you guys are gone?
Lulz is a demon, Gory's a witch, and I'm a slasher, so we should be fine.
As will live.
I mean, if anything, we're gonna be causing the trouble. So.
There you go. There you go. You guys are gonna be like the killer family, like Texas Chainsaw style.
Yes.
They want to know if you played the Friday the 13th game.
Yes, well, wait, which Friday the 13th game? I have played a little bit of the modern one, a tiny bit. Undead Jess has it.
I am obsessed with that game. In fact, one of the people I play with a lot is in the chat right now listening to this, and I'm obsessed with that damn game.
I'm just waiting for the disc copy for PS4 to come out. It's coming out soon, and then I will own it. Jess has it downloaded on his his Xbox One. I have played it. It's fun.
I hope by the time you get to it, they patch a lot of the problems it has right now.
It's very glitchy, but still addictive, like you said, despite the glitches.
Addictive. The best part is if you get a good group of friends together to play it, it's the best thing ever, and you'll just be playing it all night.
Yeah.
It's great.
So, what do you have it for? Computer?
I have it on the PC, for Steam.
All right. Well, you might have to get it that, and maybe even stream some gaming with you.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we're talking about Friday the 13th, Momo.
Yep. And as for the old one, yes, I own it. I have like 2 copies of that for the NES, and it is shit. Fun shit to talk about and even show people who don't know how much shit it is, but it is complete shit. It's just, you throw these horrible rocks and the most repetitive music, no matter what stage you're in, plays. And
the original game, man.
there's
The
zombies
original.
for some reason. Jump over the zombies, and wolves I kind of get, even though I don't remember any wolves in the series. It makes sense in the woods, but... And if you have the rock, you need to find a better weapon. And all the stuff is at random. You gotta light all the chimneys.
I did love that the new game, paid homage to that original game by putting the NES Jason in as an optional skin for the Part 3 Jason.
Our friend Ronnie, who I was talking about, wrote that book and stuff. He got to interview Kane Hodder. I believe I filmed it, and I got to hang out with Kane Hodder a little bit as well. But he was talking about how he got to do the motion caption for all that, and he said that he would never run as Jason, but unfortunately he had to break that because they had the skins of Part 4 and stuff where he's like, I guess I have to run now because Jason ran before he was a zombie, and so a lot of people would say, oh, you gotta look back, go back and watch Part 4. He does. He chases after Tommy Jarvis and stuff. He runs right up the steps, right across the yard and everything. It's creepy.
And the funny thing is, the new game actually reflects that. Like, the Jasons who are seen actually jogging or running actually do have the jog and run abilities, and the ones that only just can only walk in the game. And I love that they paid that much attention to detail. Yes. Though they ended up only getting Kane Hodder to do all of them. So all the Jasons have the Kane Hodder mannerisms. But he does a decent job like mimicking some of the mannerisms from the other movies.
And even though they're not usually my favorite, 7 is really good. And I like 8 for a lot of reasons, but it's not a great movie.
7 is my favorite design for Jason. And it makes me really sad because he's one of the weakest Jasons in the game. And as a result, one of the hardest to play.
I don't think that's fair. I mean, he had to go up against basically Carrie.
I know. So. I want them to buff him up a little bit. Just give him something, because right now, like, you playing him, you're probably going to lose. Like, the counselors are just going to beat you. Yeah. Which is unfortunate because it's my favorite Jason design.
Especially when his mask cracks open. And
he's almost... And that can happen in the game.
Sorry.
It's like
if they break open your mask, that will happen.
I always I loved it, but I always thought of it like it reminded me of Toka from Toka and Razor from Ninja Turtles 2: Secret of the Ooze, just because he almost has like a beak-like face. It's just the way the zombie is like decayed, but it just looks. It reminded me of the puppetry from Toka. But I always loved that. That was like my favorite part of 7 is just that mask reveal of his face and how pissed he looks. And say what you want about any of the Kane Hodder Jason films. He was just menacing, like evil.
Oh god, yeah. There's a reason why he's the definitive Jason.
He is so pissed off. Like 6 is great, and a lot of other ones are great, but he is just. There's no humanity left in him.
Whenever anyone does a Jason Voorhees impression, the standing there, the heavy breathing, the head tilts, they're doing Kane Hodder. Yeah. That's the Kane Hodder performance.
And it's funny because he's a very intimidating person. You've probably met him, haven't you?
I've met Kane. Yeah, yes. Kane is great.
He poses in those pictures.
I have the marks on my neck.
Yes, exactly. Especially because me and my friend Ronnie, we told him that we are pro wrestlers, and he's like, "I have mad respect. You guys are basically stuntmen," which I am, but he is very squeezy.
Yeah. So he loves to pop your head off.
Yep. And I love it. I haven't met a Jason that I haven't liked, but he's definitely.
So far, every Jason's been great. Like even though I have mixed feelings about the movie, the remake Jason, what's his name? Derek Mears. That guy is awesome.
Yes, he is very
He's just a bundle of love and energy, and it's always great to be around him.
And a lot of that personality shows up in the show Holliston, if you've seen that.
Yes, I love Holliston.
And Adam Green is just all amazing as well.
Oh, yeah. Huge Adam Green fan. Just part of the Hatchet Army. That's just... love that stuff.
Can't wait for season 3. I will be sad there's no Odorous obviously going to be in it, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless.
I did love that one idea that they talked about that I don't think they're going to actually do, but they talked about it where they're going to like reveal that in Joe's closet is Henry Rollins.
Well, in the end of part 2, they have a baby on the way. And I was talking to Adam about this. he does. I don't think that they're going with this idea as well, but they were toying about a little bit about how maybe Odorous is gone now that Adam's a dad. But the baby will have his own imaginary scumdog, perhaps one of the other members of Gwar that it sees. Like behind Adam's shoulder, you'd see like either Ballsack or Blothar or something like standing behind him, and it's like smiling and laughing a little bit. And it's like Gucci goo. So I don't know, but I think they might just stray away from it altogether because it's just kind of a painful memory for Adam and stuff. So they'll do what they want to do.
Yeah, and I know right now he's basically just waiting until all the ducks are aligned so they can do the next season. So really excited about it.
And yes, and if anybody hasn't, it's not a sleepaway camp, but he does scary sleepovers where they in his studio. People in the chat, if you haven't seen those, check them out. Kane Hodder, Tony Todd, they have some great ones on there. Sid Haig, actually, Sid Haig steals his electronic cats from him from Holliston. And right after that episode dropped, Sid Haig was at our Crypticon, and I asked him, like, so how is Adam Green's cats doing? And he looked at me for a second, he's like, what? And he's like, oh, they're fine. I'm taking good care of them. I'm like, yeah, don't forget to feed them. And he's like, oh, I'll feed them to something.
There you go.
So, Sid Haig's a pretty fun guy, too. And he doesn't charge for pictures with him. He's like, yeah, if you just want a picture with me, it's free. And Adam, he doesn't charge for autographs, at least not to me. He said it's always free. He gave me a Hollister poster.
I think at this point, Sid, with his long career, being in so many movies and getting up there in age, I don't think he's wanting for money right now. I think he's just here to have a fun time until he croaks, and that's just it.
And another thing about zombies movies is just so well casted. Him, Adam Green, you can tell that both of them as directors, they love horror icons, and if you're not a fan of their movies, that's fine, because they have both very different styles as well. But you can't take away what they do for casting and just to keep horror icons with jobs and give
both of them have like what I would call an acquired taste for different reasons. And so if you don't have the taste for a Rob Zombie movie or Adam Green movie, which are completely different, then you're not going to enjoy it, because Adam Green's got a very particular sense of humor, and Rob Zombie loves his trailer trash, and if you're not into that kind of thing, you're not going to like it.
But you will see the same faces pop up. So
yes, absolutely.
And I love them both for that. They keep horror icons with jobs and alive. And if I was directing big movies instead of 5-minute funny things that I direct on YouTube, I would definitely cast the same people.
Oh yeah.
That is just how I would go.
So, summer camps.
I'm trying to think. Have you seen Cheerleader Camp?
I have seen Cheerleader Camp. I have. I've seen that one.
You reviewed a movie recently, very low budget, and the cover had like the skeleton face.
Pool Party Massacre?
Yeah, Pool Party Massacre. I looked at that poster. My friend, he has the Cheerleader Camp poster, and it's I have the cover of it somewhere as well, where it's got the cheerleader, but she's got the skeleton face.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that was what they were homaging, was that particular cover.
Yeah, that had some pretty fun moments in it. But I liked Cheerleader Camp, even though it's very low budget.
That one's very low budget, but I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So that's a one for anybody out there to check out.
Sometimes a movie just needs to have this particular charm, and I'll forgive all its flaws if it just has just the right amount of charm to where it wins me over.
Yeah, I mean, I can be forgiving. If the kills are creative, they don't have to look great, and sometimes they could show me less. That's fine if they don't have, they can't show me at all. Just make them creative and fun. Yeah,
absolutely.
And same thing with your characters. They don't have to be the big name actors. They don't have to have the greatest acting. As long as they're having fun and it looks fun, I can let a lot of things go. So
absolutely. And you don't have to do like the high school drama stereotype when you do a slasher movie, because if you go back to a lot of those slasher movies, like if you go back to Friday the 13th, if you go back to Sleepaway Camp, by and large, the characters aren't necessarily fitting those stereotypes. They actually are more diverse than that. It isn't really until the sequels where you start getting like Stereotype City, you know?
You got one from each, and it's like, at some point you kind of question, like, why are these people friends with each other?
Yeah. Though, I guess to be fair, Sleepaway Camp actually was more stereotypy, but like the original Friday the 13th, like, the final girl in that movie is, she's talking about sleeping around, she's smoking weed, she's doing all the stuff that final girls don't normally do. She's not fitting the virgin stereotype the way we come to know them in slasher movies.
I believe they were playing like Strip Monopoly or something.
Yeah. And the counselors don't seem to be divided in like, oh, that's the jockey guy, oh, that's the nerdy guy. They're just counselors,
So exactly. And I don't know. I like it when it's more like that. I mean, I don't care if, especially if you're trying to make a modern one and you want to go with the stereotypes, just because that's
what
if
you can do the stereotypes and have fun with it, that's fine. Like I love Friday the 13th sequels, and they do that all the time.
Especially when they get into their like part 8, you got your black guy and he's boxing. I love that scene though. That's like one of the best scenes. And just when Jason kicks over the boombox, is Gory's favorite scene.
Yeah.
When he's actually in Manhattan, it's actually a pretty fun, good movie like that, but it just takes forever to get there.
Well, you kind of wish that it got to Manhattan about like halfway into the movie instead of 2/3.
Yeah.
Like at least halfway.
There was a couple cool kills on the boat, but I think most of them could have been saved and just or
I also sat there every time I watched that movie, I sat there and think like, what fucking lake is connecting like
Camp Crystal Lake to Manhattan.
Crystal Lake to Manhattan, because Camp Crystal Lake's supposed to be in like New Jersey, and so you like look at it and you go like, how is this happening? How are you connecting this lake to the fucking bay? Like,
yeah, the boat that he like gets a hitch a ride on. It's like, how was he? The first little boat.
Who the fuck put that cruise liner in a lake?
That wouldn't be there. He kills the couple in the beginning and gets a new mask and has the harpoon gun. Funniest note on that scene where he opens up the thing and she's hiding in there and he's gonna kill her with the harpoon gun going down. When that first thing opens up and you see him, as a prank to the cameraman, Kane Hodder had this big purple dildo strap on.
Nice.
So when the lid opened up and you saw him looking down with the harpoon, he had this big dildo instead, just to mess with the crew. Somewhere probably on the internet you could probably find a photo of that, but
probably
that is just Kane Hodder's sense of humor and stuff. And
hell yeah.
he says that one is where he finally felt like a huge star. Like those few scenes that are in New York where he's in like Times Square and stuff.
Yeah,
he felt like he kind of arrived. Like I make movies and I'm a movie star, even though he's mostly a stuntman. But for those movies, he's both. He's a character and a stuntman and stuff.
Well, yeah. Well, he was the only Jason who would like go on talk shows and shit and like actually be there as Jason. And I always thought that was beautiful. That was fantastic.
I was so pumped for Jason Goes to Hell before it came out. Like as a little kid, I was so pumped about. And he was on that one show where like those talk shows, like you were saying.
Everyone was pumped because like he was going around, he was advertising the shit out of it. You had that awesome title, Jason Goes to Hell. Yeah. I mean, how could that not be awesome? And then you watch the movie and you're like, oh, Jason's barely in this thing.
I was like, why is he? Like, this is Invasion of the Body Snatchers at this point.
Okay, Daniel Hammond in the chat, I will fight you. Jason X is fantastic. I will fight you in the streets, boy.
My favorite part of Jason X is it's not even technically a kill because they're like virtual reality, but it's just when he grabs the two
Want to have
girls,
premarital sex?
Yeah, and then smashes them in the sleeping
Let's
bag
smoke
together.
weed and have sex. Want to have premarital sex? That seems great.
And like I said, you could say what you want about those movies, but Kane Hodder was just, he makes it. I can enjoy even the bad Jason movies. I don't care which one it is. Like, I enjoy them all. Just
I don't even consider that one a bad one. I don't even consider that one a bad one. Like, Goes to Hell, yes, I consider that a bad one, but I actually really like Jason X.
I like Jason X, especially before they even get to space. I just thought it was super fascinating that the military had him, and they've tried to execute him several times. I loved that idea of him. Like,
yeah.
And yeah, going to space, I would say it's a bad plot, but I wouldn't say it's a bad movie. It's
a dumb plot. I would say it's different from a bad plot. It's a dumb plot, but
it's jumping that space shark that so many movies have done. But
well, here's the thing: like some of those space ones, okay, like
Leprechaun 4,
Pinhead 4, Hellraiser 4 is not that good, but it has some fun ideas.
Yeah.
But Leprechaun in Space is one of my favorite Leprechaun movies, next to In the Hood.
It is hilarious, I admit that, and so anything with Warwick Davis getting work, I don't really care.
Yeah, I love Warwick Davis.
So that's what killed Leprechaun for me. That Origins that didn't even have Warwick Davis.
Oh
Like,
god,
no,
Leprechaun Origins was atrocious and a bad idea.
that I don't even see how that links into the other movies. There's nothing to do with those other movies.
Because it doesn't. It's
I-
it's a reboot.
I think they had a script for a monster movie, and then last minute, since WWE was producing it, like, well, let's make this a Leprechaun movie. We'll change the script a little bit, and that way we can get our little Leprechaun guy to be in the movie. Which then he doesn't even look like himself at all. If he would have looked more like himself, but just kind of like how with the nasty skin that Warwick Davis had, but kept just like Leprechaun, then because I kind of like when I heard about it, I was like, well, that might be fun. I didn't think it was gonna be good, but it might be fun. But then when I saw what it was, like even before I saw it, I was like, oh no, that's atrociously bad. Like why? There was no point of even casting him to play it. It was like a puppet at that point, and like a skinned cat. It looked kind of like a really bad version of the things from The Descent.
Yes, that's a good description actually.
And I didn't.
Oh man,
get
The
that.
Descent. I love that movie.
That's
That movie's
good,
great.
but it was like a bad rip-off creature. Like it was a derp version of one of those. And I don't know why it had gold predator vision, but it did. Play said so. I suppose. Well, I think we covered a lot of the camp type horror movies. There's those Camp Blood series. You know any
Camp Blood?
Yeah, which is just straight. I don't even think I think they're shorts, but I don't know. They're just which Camp Blood is the nickname from Crystal Lake, but
Yeah.
I don't know. They got away with it somewhat. Do you know anything that's? I guess we talked about some video games. Do you have any horror books that take place? Oh, yeah, we talked about this.
Horror books that take place in camp.
Addams Family 2.
Addams Family. Oh, I guess Addams Family 2. Gory mentioned that does take place at camp.
I'm trying. Yeah, Addams Family 2 technically does. I'm trying to think of a book. You know, the problem is I bet Jack and his wife would have a million answers for that. But I'm drawing a blank.
I kind of this only half counts. I stumbled across one because I just rewent and had Steven Weber read me it. I mean, I read it in high school, but I didn't want to reread it again, so I had an audio book. It was unabridged, so everything was in there. And now I'm kind of like obsessed with Steven Weber reading me stuff. So I got this other one called Tell No One. And it's not a bad book, but it's more of a Femina Kita Born Identity storyline, except for the beginning. In the beginning, this guy is at a lake that his grandpa owns, where they used to have a summer camp, and all the bunks are still there, all the kids' stuff is still there. And a slasher shows up and beats the hell out of him and knocks him into the lake and kills his wife. And he's his name's Kilroy, and he's like brands women with a K and stuff. So it technically counts. I mean. There's more. Yeah. There's way more to it, and the story goes way differently after that. But so Zenkaku's Tenchi in the chat brought up a very interesting thing that actually brings up an important distinction. I think that he brought up or she brought up. I'm not sure. Grizzly, which is set on a campground, but not a summer camp. Yeah,
and that's an important distinction because there are campground movies, which are very different, and then there are summer camp movies.
Yes, exactly. We're going mostly with the camp horror right now. We might switch over that. The only books
about camp horror and Goosebumps.
Well, that's what I have in my hand, Gory. Gory was saying go to Goosebumps because I was trying to think of books about it, and the only ones I could.
I can't remember if it was a Goosebumps or Are You Afraid of the Dark episode, but I remember that one of them had this one episode that blew my mind as a kid, and it was all about this kid at a summer camp who's being attacked by like a werewolf or something.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the episode, he and his friends defeat the werewolf, and then all of the people that supposedly died and were killed just come out of the woods and are like, "Congratulations, boy, you successfully completed the trial. And now you're on to your next mission." And then the camera pans up to the sky, and there in the sky is planet Earth.
Yep, they're that close to us, and yet we don't know anything about them. But I love
I'm
that
sitting there going, "Wait, this was set on a different what the fuck is going on?" And I can't remember if that was Goosebumps or if that was Are You Afraid of the Dark, but it blew my mind as a kid.
It is Goosebumps. I have the book right here. Welcome to Camp Nightmare. With a N, not a K like my Camp Nightmare. But That is the one, and I had read the book first before I saw that episode, so I kind of knew that was coming. But the episode was a little different than it was in the book.
Mm-hmm.
And in the book, he doesn't defeat the werewolf and everybody cheers him. He has to stand up to the camp director, and he pulls the gun and aims it at him. And he's like, "You are the reason why my fellow campmates are disappearing. You are killing us. I don't know why and stuff." But and then the director's like, "You got me." And then there's a slow clap, and then everybody comes out, and then there was a werewolf in the book, but it wasn't the thing that he defeated in the end. In the episode,
interesting.
That so. And then Goosebumps has other books. I don't know if they all had episodes, but there was The Curse of Camp Cold Lake. So
I did read that one. I remember that one.
There's Ghost Camp.
I read a lot of the Goosebumps. Some of them I missed, but I read a lot of them.
There was Ghost Camp. They had apparently R.L. Stein knew that camp was scary for children.
Yeah, he understood.
And then that was Welcome to Camp Nightmare. We talked about that. And then the horror Camp Jelly Jam as well, which had some weird blob creature that made all the characters smile. You have to have fun. So for whatever reason,
I actually really liked that movie. The Goosebumps movie with Jack Black. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, we really did too. And Laws loved it, and that's why we still have the Goosebumps. These are all mine. I had the complete.
Oh, nice.
I had the complete collection of the originals, and then I gave them to my little sister. But then later she gave them back for Laws. She's like, "He's gonna want these." I'm like, "Yeah," and he does. He loves them. So now Laws has them all. The original series. There's 30 or 51 of them or something. He's got a few of the other ones, but he has the complete originals. So I was looking through that. I'm like, I know that those had camping books. So, camps. So, all right.
Well, there you go. I think that's probably the answer, is that the Goosebumps books,
they cover
a lot of horror, a lot of camp horror in there.
And it makes sense because that was more of a target for children, and it's, if you're going to camp, it could be scary, especially if they're trying to.
As a matter of fact, Baja Volvo, I'm not sure how that's pronounced. Anyway, as a matter of fact, I have been working out, so there you go.
Yeah, he's looking lean, strong. He could kick some ass at camp.
Got this. We got this.
Oh, that would be so fun, hypothetically, if I could actually throw a horror camp and we could get all of our YouTubers to show up for it.
Don't they have there was this, I swear that there was this thing that they did in SoCal where they had this horror summer camp, it's like a game, you join it, it's like a LARP almost.
Oh, yeah.
And
I've heard of those scares too, you can go to scares where they'll put it in a camp setting as well, but
yeah,
haunts or whatever, live haunts attractions.
Mm-hmm.
Dusty's here. Sigma.
Yeah, my brother-in-law's now in the chat. Zigma.
Your brother-in-law's in the chat?
Yeah.
All right, now you and Gory got to talk about your sex life, because your brother-in-law's in the chat and you got to torture him.
Oh god, he actually went to a strip club with me and Gory once.
You told me that story before, yes.
And the strippers were all over Gory. It was technically my real bachelor party, since I didn't get a good one before our marriage. And I didn't mind. I didn't mind strippers rubbing up all over my wife. But I looked over and he kind of looked pale and mortified that this hot chick is naked hot chicks all rubbing up on his sister. And I get
fool.
that. That's
Poor
yeah.
fool.
That kind of kills it, I would imagine. Never been to a strip club with my sister and never want to. But
I don't think that would be a fun experience, to be honest.
That'll kill the fantasy, I would assume. A little girl on girl is great, but not when you're related to one. So, now going off of the camp thing, we will kind of trend just to camping. What is your favorite horror movies that are just camping in the woods?
Actual camping in the woods.
Yeah, just camping. Recreational camping.
I think about that, where they go camping. I don't know if it counts as camping, but have you seen that one of the people that did the Blair Witch Project made that movie about Sasquatch?
Okay.
Where God, what was that movie called? I can't remember, but it's basically. What was that?
Was it a lake something, or a river?
No,
something?
it had a single word title. Because it came out around the same time as the one that Bobcat Goldthwait made.
Oh.
His was Willow Creek.
All right.
And
yeah,
there's, I forget what they called that one. But that one was really awesome, where it's just a bunch of teenagers who decide to go to this like cabin in the woods and rough it out in the woods, and then they're attacked by Sasquatch, and it's found footage, and I really liked that one.
Oh.
But that was technically cabin in the woods, so not camping, which I guess is another distinction.
Yeah. That's fine. Have you seen the old classic "Don't Go Into the Woods"?
Oh my god, I have not seen that. I have not seen "Don't Go in the Woods."
God, it's the 80s or 70s.
I love the old poster for that where it's "Don't go in the woods alone."
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I own that movie. It's on my shelf. I have never watched it.
You need to watch that.
Yeah.
There is so many things to poke fun at that, but it's still, I enjoy it. It's not like it's not a great cinematic masterpiece, but I love that movie nonetheless. It's got the worst like cop I think in history of movies. He is eating a big stack of pancakes, and they're trying to say, "Hey, she's still in the woods. There's a killer. He's killed everybody. We need to go up there and save her." And they're like, "We'll get to it around lunch, after lunch." And he's got pancakes on his plate, so I'm assuming that he's eating breakfast as he's saying this. "We'll get to it after lunch." It's like, what?
Movies. Blair Witch Project, Backcountry, and Lumberjack Man.
Oh yeah.
I think the chat's right. I think the movie that I was talking about was called Exists. I think that was it.
That is it too, and I have seen it. It's almost they wronged that Bigfoot. I won't ruin that for anybody there, but they wronged that Bigfoot, and that is why it attacks them.
No, I was on the Bigfoot side. Yeah. I was like, "Fuck yeah, Bigfoot."
You find out why, and you're like, "Oh, fuck those people." Yeah, that in a sense, I know why Bigfoot goes after those people.
Exactly.
There's a really bad movie, but it's a cabin in the woods as well. And I want to say that the kid from Growing Pains is in it, but I just think it's just a doppelganger. But it's called Demon Warp, and it's like it starts off as it's got that first part where it happens, and then later it's like modern day. But in the first part, this girl and her dad are at the cabin, and like Bigfoot attacks and kills them. I'm like, oh, all right, this is pretty cool so far. And it goes modern day. It goes modern day, and like some teenagers.
I'm on board.
She comes back with some friends a little bit, and she I don't know. She doesn't tell them what's up, but she wants her dad back. So she comes back with them. And there is a Bigfoot, and it kills the doppelganger from the kid from Growing Pains or whatever. Maybe it is him. I don't think so. And I'm like, all right, I'm on board with this. And then there's some other killings that are kind of like from the camera's perspective and stuff. And then their kids they're running. They just abandon the cabin, running around the woods. There's other people that are just in the woods because that's what people do. They just hang out in the woods. And now there's zombies. Now there is zombies.
Wait, what?
There are zombies in the movie, and some people who are camping get attacked by. I would say they were sunbathing in the woods, which is kind of hard to do, but they were doing it. And they get attacked in their bikinis by zombies. And I'm like, what's going on here? And then zombies are wandering around in the woods. They're still running and hiding from Bigfoot. And it's like cutting to these other scenes where like there's a satanic cult happening nearby. And the zombies show up at the cult.
That movie took a really weird left turn there.
Oh, it's like somebody had 3 or 4 different scripts, but they're like, we only have the budget to make one movie. We'll make them all.
Put it all over the place.
We have no bad ideas. Like everything's going in this pot. But
yeah, I'm having trouble. Like outside of a movie like Grizzly, I keep thinking of Cabin in the Woods movies when I think of people going out into the woods. I'm having trouble thinking of people actually camping. I mean, technically they camp in Blair Witch Project.
Yeah.
So I guess that would count.
They have their reasons to be out there, but they are technically camping, so that counts.
Yeah. So I guess that one counts.
It turns out these. Then you see all the zombies are carrying all these appliances and stuff from the victims, like VCRs and car radios and stuff. Like they're stealing like klepto zombies, and then like they go show up at the cult cave, and some of the main characters show up there, and they find out these satanic cult are aliens, and they kidnap some people and linked them and like de-evolutioned them, and that's why the missing links are running around as big feet.
Okay.
But then when the big feet, Bigfoot or whatever, the Yetis or whatever Sasquatches kill people, those people are brought back by the satanic cult as zombies to bring back any technology so the satanic cult can fix their spaceship that broke. And that's why they want to leave
What is this movie called again? I need to see this.
Demon Warp.
Demon Warp. Okay, I need to find Demon Warp because what the hell is going on anymore?
Evil Dead, Child's Play 3.
Yeah. I guess Child's Play 3 was technically a
yes, because that was at a
military camp.
Mm-hmm.
And so they play paintball out in the woods.
One-Eyed Monster.
I love how paintball guns can be modified to real bullets somehow in that movie.
Magic. Magic.
Another cabin movie, Zombievers.
Zombievers, another cabin movie. Dog Soldiers, someone brought that up.
Oh yeah, Yatsu. You guys talked about Zombievers.
You know, obviously, like the Evil Dead movies, obviously Cabin in the Woods, like this is very obvious. Cabin Fever, you know.
But you definitely need to see Demon Warp and Don't Go in the Woods.
I need to see this movie.
And
this movie
Don't Go in
sounds
the
insane.
Woods. There's a part in Don't Go to the Woods, like, because there's not even a main character for a while. It's just random people being killed in the woods, and you don't even know by what at this point. And then, like, there's this guy, he's on a wheelchair, and he's up in the woods by himself, making it all the way up the really gravel road. And it's like, it keeps showing this, like, throughout the, like, cut to him, how struggling, some funny music, other people dying, back to him, struggling. He finally gets there, and then, like, his head gets cut off. And his body falls down the hill, and I want to make, like, that Goofy noise when Goofy falls down. So I'm like, oh, like,
there you go.
Like,
there you go.
But it turns out it's, like, this little Viking dwarf guy. And
does The Ruins count?
The Ruins? Yeah, they're camping.
Does it count as a camp movie?
Kinda.
Cabin Fever.
Cabin Fever.
Yo, Cabin Fever, yeah.
Which
absolutely.
I love the original. Fuck the reboot. Same thing with Don't Go in the Woods. I guess they didn't want to say it's technically a reboot. It's like to promote their shitty band. And like they had music playing for Don't Go in the Woods reboot-ish. But they say it's kind of a musical, but it's not like good as in the Stage Fright musical. It's just like their band. Like this local,
Tucker and Dale. Someone brought up a good one.
Tucker and Dale's a good camp cabin in the woods. Man Versus was a good camping one, actually.
There you go. There you go.
I didn't care too much for the creature, how it looked, but I loved the movie. Like, just...
God, what was that? Wasn't there like a Lance Henriksen movie where they're camping? Like,
Lance Henriksen camping?
What's that movie called?
I saw a bad lake movie with him recently, but it wasn't his fault.
Aha! Don Cascarelli's Survival Quest, starring Lance Henriksen.
Oh, there you go. That's a good one. Sounds like it, anyways. Got Lance Henriksen. Deliverance.
Oh, Deliverance. Yeah, Deliverance.
The scariest camping movie of all time.
There you go. That one's technically a rafting movie that goes south.
They were technically rafting and canoeing or whatever, but it's still a trip in the woods that they have to survive. I remember getting my uncle...
by that token, I Spit on Your Grave. Like she's technically going off into the lake
cabin,
to
mm-hmm. Spit on Your Grave.
In both versions of that movie.
We won't mention the second one. I know that heats you up a bit, Guru. So.
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm okay.
But
Tucker and Dale.
Triggered. No, Tucker and Dale. People like
I'm so triggered.
So triggered. Tucker and Dale is a great perspective on horror in general. I just loved that viewpoint of it. So yeah, there's a lot of them. I watched The Barons recently. The Barons actually is a good.
Oh yeah, The Barons.
There you go. Once again, I watched that just because of my It obsession that I got over with. Well, I'm trying to get over. I'm like, then The Barons. So I'm like, okay, I have this movie, The Barons, that I haven't watched for a long time. I'm now watching it. And it wasn't bad. It was actually pretty good. It's probably my favorite Jersey Devil movie. That doesn't say much, but...
You'd think there would be more good ones,
but
there's like only like a few that are worth watching, and most of them aren't good. But The Barons is a good one.
Yeah, it had some bad CGI in it, but it also has some practical effects in it as well that isn't good, but it's not bad. And the story was actually really great. I actually liked the story. So, because it has like it has a couple things going on, and I just like how they tied into each other.
Makes sense.
The Barons was pretty good. Guru, what is you've been camping at any point? Not summer
camping?
Yeah. Like in a tent?
I did once, and I had a really bad, miserable allergy time, so I had to like cut it short.
Yeah.
And that was like when I was a kid. Like family went camping once. I think it was at Lake Tahoe.
Lake Tahoe. Well, there you go.
And I just had too bad allergies and I couldn't stay. Like I was gonna end up in the hospital with an asthma attack.
I have my allergies. I used to have asthma-induced allergies as well, but it's mostly just from cats. Which now we have a cat, so I've had some breathing issues since we got a cat. But
there you go. Yeah, Eden Lake. That's a good one.
Eden Lake is a good one. That's got Magneto in it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
We watched that. I
love
love that movie, but it furiously frustrates me. Like Eden Lake, just because the decision making.
Oh man, yeah.
And even when they don't, even when they make decisions that I would probably make too, it seems like they're damned if they do and they're damned if they don't. You know?
Does Severance count?
Severance? Yeah, that's a kind of a camping thing. So.
We're supposed to be going on like a business retreat.
I like Severance. Severance was good.
Yeah, I like that one.
Oh, Willow Creek.
Willow Creek, yep. That would be the Bobcat Goldthwait.
The Bobcat one. With the large naked lady instead of a Sasquatch, but oh well. It had great suspense. I was a little disappointed I didn't see a Sasquatch.
Yeah, I know. That's why I liked Exist. Exist gave me everything I wanted Willow Creek to give me.
Exactly. And there's some of them like Feed the Gods where there is Sasquatches, but they don't look great. And
if you want to talk Sasquatch movies, I can talk Sasquatch movies all day.
We're from the land of Sasquatch. I have to say though, the best looking Sasquatch in any movie was Harry and the Hendersons. Like that.
Well, yeah, that's like the definitive Sasquatch.
That could have still been scary. It just because when he gets angry, his face looks angry. They could have had. I just hate how like Jack Link's jerky commercials makes better Sasquatch looking than most Sasquatch movies can't make it look. It's usually a bad gorilla suit or something, or you don't get one.
I like what was it called? I think it was just called Abominable. Yeah. The one that's basically Rear Window with a Sasquatch. But like the Sasquatch is like walking around like Jason Voorhees and just like slasher killing people. It's pretty. I like that one.
I saw that a couple years ago because we had a cryptive panel for Crypticon, and so I was like watching some cryptid ones. Abominable.
Oh, there you go.
I want better cryptid movies in general, not just the Jersey Devil and Sasquatch, but just gory.
Well, Sasquatch at least has a couple good movies under his belt. He does. Jersey Devil needs to catch up.
He's way behind. Sasquatch is way ahead of any other cryptid probably out there. Even Nessie doesn't have much, and I don't know how you'd make a horror movie out of that, but you could probably do it. Scooby-Doo's done it a couple of times, I think. So you get creative. Gory wants a skunk ape.
Skunk ape.
I would like the Ahu. It's a giant bat or whatever.
Dover Demon.
The Dover Demon would be good as well. There's some Chupacabra movies out there, but they're not very good either. They're right.
I don't think there's a single good one.
No.
I can't think of one.
I've never seen a Chupacabra movie. I think except for the Scooby-Doo Chupacabra movie was pretty good.
I believe that the monsters in Feast were kind of supposed to be kind of like the Chupacabra, but they never outright say it in the movie, so I don't think that counts.
I love the Feast movies. They're
exactly.
So hilarious. But yeah, I guess they don't officially. But I don't know. Don't go into the woods. Don't go into the desert. Don't go out of your home, and even then people are gonna break in. You're gonna die. That's what horror movies are.
Well, I mean, that's horror movies, man.
You're gonna
don't do anything. You're just gonna die. Don't.
You are not safe.
Oh man, you guys talk about Stage Fright. That movie's fun.
Yeah, I like the new Stage Fright. I like the old Stage Fright too, but they are completely different.
Oh yeah,
movies.
The old Stage Fright's great, but they're not even in the same movie. Like it's not even a remake of that movie, even though it has the same name. It's a completely different movie.
Yeah, so I think that's kind of why I held off, but I heard good things about it, and I finally watched it because I knew of this, and I was like, I need to see it. But I didn't know that it wasn't, because I just heard that they're remaking, and I'm like, oh, a lot of remakes. I'll get to it eventually.
Well, it's kind of like when Slither came out, and a lot of people thought it was a Night of the Creeps remake, but it's just a similar movie.
Yeah, I like both of those movies. So. I remember seeing Slither in the theaters, and it was just me and my friends and nobody else.
Oh God, Slither! I love Slither. That movie's great.
Huh?
The Blair Witch sequel?
Oh yeah, and there's the Blair Witch sequel, the new Blair Witch, which
Blair Witch.
Guru, you enjoyed that, didn't you not?
I enjoyed Blair Witch. Yeah.
I didn't mind it, but
I enjoyed it a little more before the directors implied that the monster in the movie wasn't the Blair Witch? Because I'm just like, well, then why is it a Blair Witch movie?
I don't care what they say.
Why'd you do that?
I have a theory about the Blair Witch itself that I believe that the evil is just in the woods. And it does not matter if Ellie died or not, that evil would still be there. I think the fact that she did die, and that she was trying to like bloodlet and help these children in a sense, but they said witch and killed her. I think that kind of gave a vessel to the evil in a sense, but I think that the woods are evil in those movies. That's
my
I
think that much
horror
is clear.
hypothesis on that anyways, that like no matter what, like the woods are evil, so it's not just Ellie, it's the woods. But I don't know, I didn't have a lot of expectations for the new one, so I kind of enjoyed it. I didn't have like
problems. I enjoyed it. Like, it was definitely more of the Blair Witch sequel I kind of wanted when they did 2. So I enjoyed
Book
it.
of Shadows, that's one I don't like at all. It's like
yeah, not a fan.
I wasn't even that big of a fan of the original, just because I remember being like told that they found some snuff film and it's gonna be released, and I was like, and I had like some Faces of Death movies, and those were like as close to a snuff film you could have. But I was like, wait a minute, that's not gonna be in the theaters. And then like it leaked out that it wasn't, and I don't know.
It wouldn't be in theaters with this huge marketing campaign.
Yeah, it's like wait a minute. Like I had a lot of friends. I was pretty young, and I had a lot of friends that were super like, yeah, no, it is, it definitely is. I'm like, I don't know. And we had dial-up at the time, but I remember trying to look it up, like trying to find out information on it and stuff. I was like, it looks pretty good, but it wasn't. I don't know. And once again, it didn't show me anything. They tried to, but it just didn't get filmed. There was like supposed to be a witch in the movie originally, and I can kind of appreciate it a little more now that there wasn't, and because it'd probably be very dated and look terrible, maybe in a sense. But
I think the reason why that movie works so well is that it left itself so restrained. I wanted that sequel, the one they just did, to go farther, and it did, thankfully.
Yeah.
But like that original one, no, like I think if you showed too much, it wouldn't have worked.
Yeah,
for that one.
It kind of bugged me when I first saw it, but I like that, and I love more about how they made it actually than the movie itself. I'm very intrigued with how the guerrilla filming and just scaring the cast and everything. That's one of the reasons why I like that movie so much. Is just they were creative with something that no one really did, so it's hard to become new in the movie business, have ideas like that.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. So, and then the new one I think is a much better sequel than I kind of refuse to even acknowledge Book of Shadows, because that just seemed like a Hollywood cash-in that they just rushed right out to try and have for no reason. And then most people I think even took to it. I remember when VHSs were like going away and they were selling it, and I saw it for $1, and I was like, it's still $1 too much, I think. So I didn't buy Book of Shadows.
Yep.
No.
I'm right there with you. I fucking hate that movie.
It's funny though, because my cousin Jess, who lives in the downstairs, the basement area is all his, and he has a big ass fucking movie poster of that.
Really? Like, of Book of Shadows?
Yep. He hadn't even seen it until later. Like, he was given it, and like, I don't know how
he just had the poster up, but he hadn't seen
Someone like got it from the theater at some point, and then they gave it to him, like his uncle or something. Which our family has a lot of the movie business. I grew up on a drive-in because my dad was a manager at the theater, which owned the drive-in here. So I watched like Jason Goes to Hell out my backyard, like because it was just there. I lived on top of the.
That's cool.
On top of the snack bars where I lived. There was an apartment up there, and then there was the projector room up there, and
nice.
So we had that. So we have a lot of movie stuff. I don't know how he got Book of Shadows, but somehow he ended up with the Book of Shadows poster.
We just saw Here Alone too. That was camping.
Oh, yeah. Here Alone is camping as well. Zombie camping, an actually pretty good zombie film. I'm a bit zombied out, but have you seen that one?
Which movie?
Here Alone.
Here Alone? I have not seen Here Alone.
Well, this lady goes out to like live in the woods because there's a zombie apocalypse happening. She goes with her husband and baby, but then like other survivors kind of stumble across her, and she kind of explains how she's been living out in the woods to kind of like just wait out the zombie apocalypse as much as she can. It's actually pretty good. It's not, the best zombie film by any means, but far as
I'll have to check it out.
There's many zombie movies up there. I would say it's definitely one of the better ones. Check it out.
It's at the point now where I like a zombie movie if it can put like a crazy spin on it. Something
if it
that
can
just
give me a better reason than just zombies themselves. Like, because there's just so many now. Like the zombie movie is the zombie plague in actuality. Like it has spread. It is the world has taken over the world.
and it's funny because to think about it, like 20 years ago, no fucking zombie movies like anywhere to be seen.
I would not the bits to find zombie movies, like even bad ones by Trauma, like Redneck Zombies and stuff on VHS.
Yeah. You'd have to like fucking look for them, and occasionally you'd have like in the late 90s there was a bunch of Japanese zombie movies like Stacy's, like Wild Zero and stuff like that. Versus another good one.
What was that one where they had they had a soda drink from? It was a Japanese zombie movie, but they had like soda drinks that were turning people into zombies or something.
I think that was Stacy's, but I might be off on that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
But there was a bunch there, and then in the 2000s, like it just flooded. George A. Romero came back and started making them.
It looks like that was Biozombie. So there we go. That was Biozombie, which is actually it's a Chinese film.
Oh, is it Chinese? Well,
yeah. It's
sorry,
Cantonese.
I haven't seen it since high school. Try not to mix up my Asian culture, but sometimes I do.
There you go.
I'm guilty of it. But yeah, that was interesting. But yeah, they started making remakes of George A. Romero movies. He started making more movies, and then you had those dime a dozen straight to DVD, like Zombies on a Train, Zombies on a Plane, and all.
Yeah.
It's just like
Flight of the Dead.
Yeah, Flight of the Dead. That's it. Because they had the snakes on a plane, so we have to have zombies on a plane. We have to have zombies. We watched one recently. I don't recommend it, but it was Jurassic World, but zombies instead.
That sucked.
Resort Z, I believe. Resort.
Oh, that sounds
or just
bad.
Resort, but with a Z. The Zort. There's a Z in Resort.
I'm just seeing that title in my head and going, that sounds bad.
So bad. On Letterboxd I left a review for it saying, "Hey, did you watch Jurassic World recently? Instead of bringing back the Dino Classic, should they have just made this a shitty generic zombie movie? If so, this is for you, because that's all it is. It's Jurassic World, but with zombies instead of dinosaurs."
Gory is correct, though. Train to Busan is fantastic.
Oh, God.
I love Train to Busan. The Koreans know how to make a damn movie.
They do, because they don't care if it's a horror movie. They put everything into
They put everything.
They want to make you have all the feels. They treat it like we're trying to make a good movie. I wish our studios over here would do that more often. It happens on occasion, but not very often. And it seems
I'm
like
sitting there watching Train to Busan and I'm crying. Like, the movie's making me cry.
Crying,
So
laughing, on the edge of my seat, actually afraid for these characters, being super upset when they get
Very
fucked
well-rounded
over.
film.
Like,
Train to Busan?
yeah, and we watched the prequel, which is an anime.
Yeah, I saw that.
Soul Station. It's pretty good. Not as good as Train to Busan, but
Yeah, the movie's way better, but the prequel's not bad.
yeah. I mean, if someone was like, "Hey, you got a cool anime that I haven't seen," I'd put it in. But Train to Busan is like, if you haven't seen that, we're watching that because you need to watch that. So.
But we've strained so far from the summer camp.
Yeah. Summer's about over, so
Yeah.
pack your belongings. Parents are on their way. The buses are loading up. Thank you, Guru, for coming to camp.
No problem. It's been really fun.
I hope you didn't have any allergy problems. My computer did, but
Nah, it's okay. The only allergy problems I had is that damn cat behind that damn screen.
yeah. So unfortunately, Lee didn't survive, but oh well.
Hey, I
Not
mean,
everybody
there's
makes
always
it
a casualty when you go to horror camp.
Hey, I'm still here.
Yep, Nurse Glory is still here, tending to the pup dog. Just like collapsed on her. Little doggy
Aw.
cuddle heaven.
Aw.
He is definitely Gory's dog. He likes me, and when she's not around, he's pretty clingy to me. But if she's around, he's with Mama. He's with Mama. That's where he needs to be.
Aww. Cuteness. Doggies. Alrighty then. So is that
One
the show?
One last
Oh,
question.
what? Go ahead.
It's a horror question, and it does involve camp. What horror type creature? We've had piranhas and slashers and some other aliens and stuff. But what creature do you want to show up in your next horror camp, summer camp type horror movie? What kind of creature would you want to show up? Would it
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. All right, that's. I honestly, back when they were making those Carnosaur movies over and over, like a bunch of those Carnosaur films,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been surprised if they had done a camp.
I want
Yep.
a merman.
Gory wants a merman.
Merman? Oh, yeah.
Like in the Cabin in the Woods.
In the lake.
Yeah, that would be great, actually. A Cabin in the Woods type merman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want zombies. There probably is one that we missed.
Killer unicorn.
Killer
Oh!
unicorn.
There was one we forgot to talk about. It was, what was that? The Hive?
Oh, yeah. Also, summer camp.
Oh, summer camp as well. But summer camp is the zombie one, I guess. There you go. There is a zombie one. It's a foreign zombie one, and it's pretty good. It's the mushroom type zombies, like where cordyceps are in their brain and stuff. But,
Nice.
That was original for a second, but now that's been overly done. But
Yeah. Now it's everything.
Squirrels.
But there's a summer camp. That's just what it's called. It's a foreign zombie one. It's actually pretty goodish. Not great, but
Wait, hold on 1 second. Momo in the chat wants a dormant sphinx creature. I would love to see the justification for why there's a sphinx at a summer camp.
and why
I would
it's
love.
just dormant.
Yes, why it's just sitting there. It's like this camp was built on top of an ancient Egyptian burial ground.
I actually want that. I want that right up there with your windmill massacre. I don't even want a good explanation. I just want to say that in the
I'm
and,
sold.
And then
Sold.
everybody acts like that's a thing. Like it's not an.
I'm gonna go
Indian
to
burial
Hollywood. I'm gonna sell this movie. This is gonna happen. We're gonna get it made.
Speaking of the other creatures, though, there's one called Hive. It takes place in summer camp. It kills kids and counselors, and they all have like this hive bug mind, like almost like the Borg from Star Trek, but it's like very buggish. So that one was actually pretty cool. If people haven't checked that one out. What creature do I want? I guess I kind of want more of a violent werewolf one. The Goosebumps did have that one in that thing, but I want a violent werewolf to attack a summer camp full of kids, and then
It's nice and simple.
kind of maybe end it with a bunch of surviving kids who are now werewolves, like a bunch of feral pups that just they're gonna live there from now on, and anybody who comes they'll just eat like rabid little puppies. What did the chat have? Gary Busey at summer camp. Yes, it doesn't even need anything else. It's just Gary Busey at summer camp. That is probably a very horrific horror movie.
I would just watch Gary Goes to Camp.
Gary Goes to Camp. That's
like Guro said.
Oh, back before Gary Coleman died, I wrote this pitch and I sent it to I think MTV or something because they had that show called I'm with Busey, right?
Yes, I remember that.
I'm with Busey, and I was like, I wrote this idea and I wanted it to be like that, but with Gary Coleman and Gary Busey, called "What You Talking About, Busey."
Nice.
Just have them go off on just craziness adventures, but. Yeah, I don't know. I met Gary Busey when they filmed a movie come up here called Surviving the Game. And they also had Ice-T was up here for that as well. But I was afraid of him because he's a cop killer, and I thought that I wouldn't be thug
Hey,
enough.
man.
I thought he wouldn't. No, because I didn't think I would be thug enough for him to have respect for this little white kid. You know, like I was intimidated by him. But I was not afraid to meet Gary Busey. Now I look back at that and like, I should have been way more afraid to meet Gary Busey.
Yeah, I think of the two, Gary Busey's more frightening. Because Ice-T is actually really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
So
it's an archaeology specialist camp, and they are building a camp around Dig. They find a scaled sphinx that has remained dormant all these years due to not being exposed to light. All right, we have our movie.
In fact, we can mix the two. Have this Sphinx movie, just throw Busey in it. We got a great movie.
Gary Busey's one of the
archaeologists or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
And it even though it's dormant and just sits there, it has a curse that takes over Busey, and then he goes all Egyptian and kills everyone.
We're now the shitty movie executives that took her brilliant idea and just put some star in it that probably shouldn't be there. And just this'll do it.
She's still gonna get a paycheck at the end of the day, so it's okay. We'll bring her on as an advisor. We won't listen to the damn thing she says, but she'll be credited.
Yep.
No, we love it. Thank you guys. So yeah, I guess it's about time to send everyone home. Hope you have all your limbs and belongings with you. Didn't get hacked up too much at camp. Very funny.
I definitely still have mine. They seem to still be here. I'm not sure about my legs though. I'll have to check those later.
We will find a way to resurrect Lee for sequels.
Yeah.
He had something kind of come up, and I had technical problems. He had to take off, but I would love to chat with him and you, Guru, as always. You guys are just people that are just fun
anytime,
to talk
dude.
to, man.
Anytime.
So, you like give me mojo to keep going.
I give you mojo.
Yeah.
I'll give you all the mojo, my friend.
Yes.
Oh.
The inspirato, you know.
Channels in the cards.
So check out Lee at Drumdums. His in the cards and in what?
It's Drumdums.
Did I say something else? Drumdums. Check out Lee.
I keep seeing drums. I don't know why.
It makes me think of those little candy suckers. But
yeah.
I wish I would have asked him where he got the name for that. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question.
Well, he is a drummer. Is that what he told you, Gory? Did he tell you because he's a drummer?
That would make sense. That would make sense.
Candy and he's a drummer.
All right. Well.
There you go.
There
you go. Answer.
I'll have to until we get the official word. That is the answer. I don't care. But Lee is awesome. Check out his channel in the cards and in the description below. Guru, pitch yourself, my friend.
You can find me on YouTube under The Horror Guru or Blood Splattered Cinema. You can find me on Twitter at The Horror Guru. And you can find me on Facebook, Blood Splattered Cinema. Find that page. And many other places if you just type in those two things, The Horror Guru and Blood Splattered Cinema, you're bound to find me.
Yep.
And so there we go.
I often see you in Jack's vlogs as well as I see him on yours, so...
And soon to be Twitch. I'm going to be starting up my Twitch so I can play games like Friday the 13th and people can watch me.
All right. Well, we might have to Twitch as well because we've been thinking about this too. And we want to game with you as much as we want to stream and collab with you as well down the line, Guru. So
hell yeah. Anytime, dude.
All right. So I'm going to sign us out. Like, comment, and subscribe, and share, and all that nonsense, and go to camp. Mind your P's and Q's, damn it. All right. War out, everybody.
Oh, man, that was fun.